Hi guys, I just wanted to take a couple of minutes at the end of this video to recap on what you've just seen and so that I can explain a few things. As you may have seen earlier, ASUS Republic of Gamers were kind enough to supply some of the components to me. Firstly, we have the ROG Maximus 12 Extreme motherboard. At the time of preparing for this build, this was the flagship model in the Z490 lineup. One of the features which appealed to me the most was the dual networking capabilities. These allow me to have a 2.5GB Ethernet connection to my router, as well as a 10GB connection directly to my network attached storage device. Currently I'm using a QNAP 8-bay NAS system set up in RAID 6. The RAID 6 just means even if two of the drives fail, thanks to the parity setup, I won't lose any of my data. As well as transferring large files across the network thanks to the 10GB connection on the motherboard, along with SSD caching on the NAS itself, I am able to edit files over the network directly without skipping a beat. Now, I would be lying if I said this setup was purely for work. I spend a lot of time gaming on my system and try to push things to the limit. For this reason, the higher quality VRMs on the motherboard itself appeal to me, allowing for maximum performance when overclocking and, more importantly, stability. I myself have had stability issues in the past with lower end components from other manufacturers. Just recently I had a close friend having issues with his system rebooting randomly, and it turned out the reason for this was a faulty power supply unit. So when ASUS asked if I would be needing a new PSU for this build, I was very grateful. Combining an 80+ platinum rating as well as a high capacity of 1200 watts, the ROG Thor 1200 watt power supply unit ticked all of the boxes for me. Not to mention it's a fully modular unit, so it allowed me to completely negate any cluster in the chassis, as I was able to plug in purely the cables I needed for the components I was using. I'm sure many of you are far too familiar with the absolute spaghetti of cables you can end up in your system once you get everything connected up. And sometimes it feels like your computer is like a Japanese subway train trying to cram everything in before closing the door. My last computer, I actually had to sit on the rear panel in order to get it closed. The final item that was provided to me by ASUS was one of their premium ProArt series monitors. This allows me to have 100% color accuracy when it comes to editing and color grading my video work. In the past, I'd used other less accurate monitors, and I could never work out why my videos looked mismatched, and sometimes different colors entirely on different devices such as phones, tablets, and TVs. Now that I'm having to use 2 or more cameras for some of my projects, it's become crucial that I'm able to match the color grades accurately between the cameras, and this ProArt monitor allows me to do so. Also, this monitor has HDR, which if you haven't experienced before is an absolute game changer when it comes to watching movies and playing games. It's hard to describe if you haven't seen it firsthand, so let me just say, it's not just seeing more colors, it's the whole way the lighting affects the scene. To me, it's especially noticeable in games. If you are able to play a title in HDR, it can take the image from looking flat and lifeless into an almost photorealistic scene, purely by affecting the way the lighting reacts to the objects, especially if the scene has harsh sunlight in combination with dark shadows. Before we finish up, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to ASUS for granting me this opportunity, as well as a big thank you to EK Waterblocks for allowing me to purchase directly from their spare parts department. Thanks to this, they were able to organise the delivery for some of the gold screws and the gold EK badge of one of their older limited edition Titan water blocks. And thanks to these items, this has truly made this build one of a kind. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment them down below, or even better, come and visit me over on my Twitch channel and ask me there. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.